And that is how we get down. What's good, everybody? Welcome into the official first show of the off season. The football is in the rear view. I am the coach, and this is Coach and Company, your daily sports and sports betting brand of record. We've got a little bit of housekeeping before I bring in my company today. And to the person that sent me a very, very nice note and said, Coach, I know you're a big Chiefs fan. Are you going to be able to do the show today? I'm a grown ass man, and it's been many years since my fandom or my day lived and died with the Chiefs and their results. So, yes, I am very much okay today. Disappointed, there's no doubt about it. But congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles who used a stifling defense, 24-0 at the half. Several tickets that did cash if you had them. The over came in easily, 62 total points, second half over, 38 there as well. We'll talk about some of the exotic bets coming up here in just a little bit. But the Eagles finally gets theirs. Jalen Hurts is your Super Bowl MVP. And now the offseason begins. And they're now suddenly, because of how the Chiefs lost, a lot of questions going on in Kansas City that we will tackle in just a little bit. Now, if you are brand new to our show, today we launch kind of a new era in Coach and Company. All of our shows, three of them, in fact, at the same Behind the Turnbuckle YouTube page. BTT is our brand. BTT Studios is where it's at. And we are Coach and Company every single weekday live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Stadium. Follow watchstadium.com, the Stadium app. We are on Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, Roku TV. We are everywhere. Also at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the Coach and Bro Show, me and Vince Russo. And then tonight, also live right here on Stadium, it's The Last Word, our pro wrestling show, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, live right after Monday Night Raw. And not sure if you guys saw it, but his first public appearance just happened to be at the Super Bowl. Vincent Kennedy McMahon and his son and The Undertaker. We will tackle that coming up later today on both of those shows. But, ladies and gentlemen, I got to bring in my company because we got a lot to talk about coming off the Super Bowl and the Eagles finally getting theirs, Nick Sirianni finally getting theirs. And look who we have today. And I got to start with a man who has not slept in literally 2 weeks, but a tip of the cap. The work you did in New Orleans, not only for our brand, but for yourself, was absolutely amazing. He is our numbers guy for a reason. He is Rafael Esparza. Welcome back, Rafael.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, company. It's been a long 2 weeks. I counted my ring counted. I've had 4 hours of sleep since Friday, so my ring counted on that. I looked at it this morning. Well, actually, my wife looked at it, and she yelled at me, and then she said, "You're going to bed after I do a couple things this afternoon." But it's been a long week. But hats off to everyone. Hats off to people who had the over. I had the under. Really, 62 points when that game was supposed to be a dead under.
The fact that your wife is yelling at you is you're back in your happy place. You're back where Raphael should be. All right, up next, he is our man for all sports and all seasons, but his specialty here on Coach and Company is certainly the footy. He is the man from where the Super Bowl was just played, the Dirty Dirty, Big Chuck. Good morning, Charles.
Morning, Coach Man Company. Yeah, NFL put it in the rear view. Time to focus on other things. A nice game, somewhat. Got a little bit better in the second half, but yeah, put that one in the rear view. Time to focus on other sports.
And for those of you who are new, we've got specialties with all of our company members. And this man, he hosts the Memphis Grizzlies postgame down there in Memphis, Tennessee. He is everything NBA and NFL. My man, DG. Good morning, Daniel Greer.
Wow, hearing my real government name sounds a little weird coming out of you, but happy to be back because I did miss as well last week. I was down there hanging out with Mickey and Minnie Mouse doing some work stuff, but now glad to be back here. It's NBA season. Is everybody excited?
I am. I very much am. And for the next 4 days, a full NBA schedule. And then the NBA All Star break comes up this weekend. We'll get to our picks in about 13 minutes or so right now. I remember I told you we are not just a sports betting show. We like to discuss all of the big topics in sports to make you a smarter sports fan. Now, Rafael, I'm going to start with you because last night, certainly the first half, I was watching it at the hotel I'm at down here at Sawgrass. And it was like the whole place was like, man, this sucks. Man, the Chiefs, they wanted a good game. It wasn't about the Chiefs being down 24-0, but the game plan felt very much like what Tom Brady and the Bucks did a few years ago, where they just brought the house And then at halftime, they said that they didn't blitz even one single solitary time. What did you make of the Eagles defense being able to dominate and force multiple interceptions in the first half?
It looked like the era when the Chicago Bears were in New Orleans and they beat up on New England. That's what type of defense I was watching. I was totally blown away. Now, one guy from the Eagles on the field after they said they blitzed twice, so it doesn't matter 2 or 0. That defense was stifling. I couldn't believe how fast they were, how easily they got to Mahomes, only rushing 4. Mahomes spent most of the time on his back or getting hit, and that's how you used to beat Tom Brady. And this is now the new blueprint on how you beat Patrick Mahomes. Hit him, and he was out of whack since the go.
And that's the thing, because Tom Brady just happened to be on the call, which I thought was a little bit fascinating, DG, because he talked about the losses, which he had 3 of them in the Super Bowl, as opposed to the 7 wins that he had, and the way that Patrick played in the first half and the way they lost the game. How much do you think that's going to affect his legacy as opposed to maybe a 28-24 really competitive game where he played well the entire 4 quarters?
I think it can affect your legacy just a little bit, especially in the short term, but the long term, this will be forgotten about as soon as the next big win that he actually has. And so I don't think this is a big kind of game for him on his legacy just overall. But if you look at this game and you look at the actual numbers, it was 21 more plays for the Eagles, but it was 14 total minutes more for time of possession. They only had 3 red zone appearances that only cashed in 2 of the 3. And so if you look at this game, it wasn't really dominated just overall from the offensive side from the Eagles. Their defense just dominated Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs never got in any rhythm at all. They could not get any running going. It was definitely a dominant performance from that defensive line for the Eagles.
A great point. At one point, they showed a graphic that the Eagles had 10 first downs and the Chiefs had 10 total plays. I mean, that was a crazy graphic that I don't think I've ever seen before. And Charles, they had 3 yards rushing in the first half, meaning the Kansas City Chiefs. And when you get everybody sped up like that, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm down 10, I'm down 17, now I'm down 24. I don't know that I've ever seen Patrick or the Chiefs get in that mode where they looked like they were completely out of control. And also, it looked like the Eagles defense knew what plays they were running before they were even called.
It was quite a frustrating sight to witness, but I do kind of remember the Tampa Bay Super Bowl. It kind of played out like that also, but at that time the Chiefs offensive line was kind of banged up, so there was none of those excuses. They definitely threw them out of whack. It was disappointing to see. I thought we would see a tighter game. I thought it would be a undead under. To see all those points come in was kind of frustrating also, but yeah, they definitely took them off their game.
Play that really kind of hosed the under. I think maybe we would have gotten the under when they scored the DeAndre Hopkins touchdown when it was 37-6. I think if they would have stopped them there at the 7, there was only like 5 or 6 minutes because they had 2 late touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. I think the under still would have come in if they wouldn't have completed that pass in the corner of the end zone. Let's go to the Eagles side now, Rafael, because Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that even if you don't like the Eagles, you got to like him. And you guys know that my kids come first. And the embrace that Jalen Hurts had with his father on the field after the game, and as a black father, when we get a horrible stereotype, to watch those two embrace knowing what they've been through, knowing that every single time that he answers a question, it's the right thing. I really rooted for him, and he's the MVP, and I think he absolutely deserves it. He played a really good, solid, effective game last night.
I understand why he got the MVP, but someone on the defensive side should have been maybe honorable mention because the defense is the reason why they won the game. Yes, Hurts threw some pretty balls. It looked like Russell Wilson long balls out there. Maybe we can say his long ball is prettier than Russell Wilson because every time Russell Wilson threw one, they made Gaga over it. Oh, look at Russell Wilson's big throw. Hurts made some nice throws. Understandable why he got the MVP, but to me, the defense is the reason why they had to grease up the poles in Philly because they were climbing and burning things all last night.
TMZ, the first 2 or 3 posts are about those idiots in Philadelphia tearing up the city, which I've never understood. But DG, when you look at Jalen Hurts and you look at his numbers, they were kind of on par for what he normally does. 220 in the air, a couple of touchdowns. Did throw that one interception down at the 2-yard line, but then they got the ball right back the very next play. But you look at how he used his legs: 11 carries, 72 yards, and a tush push touchdown. This guy is not only a franchise quarterback, but he can do it in so many different ways. If I'm an Eagles fan and I'm looking at the next 5 years, I'm very comfortable with this guy as my quarterback.
You can be a little comfortable with him, but the problem is he's very much like a Dak Prescott. Like he won't really win you the game, but he has a chance to keep you in the games. And if you have a guy like Saquon Barkley, who is your running back behind you, you can hand off to him, and a lot of times he can win you the game just overall. But if you look at this game, and just like Rafael was speaking about, it's about the defense. That defense won them the game, and they dominated the time of possessions, which dominated the Chiefs, and it did not allow them to do anything on their side. And so I think Jalen Hurts is fine. He's not a system quarterback. He's a safe quarterback. And I think that kept them within most of the games, and it kept them dominating because their defense and Saquon all year.
There was a lot of discussion, Charles, on social media about prop bets, and it's really hard when you're a prop better because there had, at least at the book that I use, when I went into the account, it was like 500 plus props. But the one guy who people still were like, nope, he's going to deliver. Nope, he's going to deliver was Travis Kelce. And you look at it, 4 catches, 39 yards. He looked lost. And I'm going to talk more about Kelce coming up in our weekend rewind coming up in about 30 minutes. But here's a guy that in Super Bowls past and playoff games past has always dominated and showed up. Last night it was Xavier Worthy, 8 catches, 157 in the 2 tutties. But right now, I think Travis Kelce's got to look at himself and the Chiefs and say, listen, we can't rely just on him anymore. We've got to add more weapons in our offense because he cannot separate anymore like he used to.
He was a disappointment, but remember the Chiefs will also have Rice coming back next season, coming off that injury, so they'll be able to put him back into the stable of offensive weapons, and I'm sure they'll go out and draft another offensive weapon to help out Mr. Mahomes. But it was disappointing to see Kelsey fall off. He kind of come out in the second half, but that was just more out of just junk plays. Yeah, he definitely needs to look himself in the mirror.
Our coaching company thread going last night, and I might be the only hip hop head on the company. I mean, I'm hip swag for days. We all know that. But DG, you were not a fan of Kendrick Lamar doing his work and all the little nuggets that he threw in. That if you knew, you knew. Why didn't you like Kendrick Lamar last night?
Yeah, so Kendrick Lamar is fine. He's a lyrical poet, as some will say. But what he's not an entertainer, and that's what I want. You're speaking to the masses at this point within the Super Bowl halftime show, like we're sitting around expecting something entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. It was meh, and that's kind of what I was disappointed in. I know he was kind of going to a niche audience, and that's fine, but the niche audience will get you like the AEW. You'll be meh. And so if you look at AEW, look at WWE and wrestling, there's a difference. And I think just Kendrick Lamar was more AEW last night.
Good comparison. Rafael, you got about 30 seconds here. He did bring out Samuel Jackson. He did bring out Serena Williams. So there were some sports stuff in there, so to speak.
Yeah, 3.5 for different appearances came in and cashed with that one with Serena Williams that people missed. I got to get hats off to the choreography. That choreography rocked. Not a big fan of the singing or the rapping of the show, but the choreography, hats off. That car with all the people coming in, that was fantastic.
True hip hop head. He had a lot of low key because I can be low key a little bit petty sometimes, but I like to do it to see if people actually figure out when I'm being petty. I don't like to hit people over the head with it. He had about 3 or 4 petty moments in that last night that I was like, wow, that was freaking awesome. All right, we'll put that to bed. Still to come, though, on the show. We've got a little bit more Super Bowl discussion coming up in the weekend rewind. But coming up in just 4 minutes, we get into our picks for the day. It's NBA, it's college hoops, and also soccer is going to start to take center stage here on Coach and Company as well. The offseason has begun, but it doesn't mean we even miss one single solitary weekday. We are live every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here. We love ourselves some stadium. All right, you OGs and degenerates out there that continue to watch on our BTT YouTube page, thank you very much. If you haven't not subscribed, we encourage you to do that. A lot of exotic bets, Rafael, that cashed last night. Give me a few that a lot of people were betting on.
I'll give you a few, but this one I was going to do. How many times Casey would have sacks or appearances from Taylor Swift? Taylor Swift has only shown twice. Patrick Mahomes sacked 6 times. that would have been probably a big plus winner. But the Gatorade was yellow lime, opened up at 4-1, got closed to plus 150. So that
Wow.
was a good one. So I'm going to read you a couple of the ones that I have been grading, and I'm still grading as we speak. So bear with me. The Anthem opened up in 123 seconds, got bet all the way down to 120. What did it land? I sent it. I shared it to you guys. It landed at 120. The under 5 seconds. The under cash. If it went just a little, if it would have hit the pinky one more time, the piano, it would have went the over. So that was a close one. And then the national anthem. What head coach would be shown first? Andy Reid opened up at minus 150, closed at almost $2 at minus 185. Everyone was betting minus 180. And will someone cry during the national anthem? Someone did cry, plus money.
What world are we living in, Charles, where we can bet on whether or not Chris Jones is going to shed a tear?
I was waiting on him. He finally broke down. It wasn't as much. It wasn't gushing like the previous Super Bowl that they were in, but yeah, he sprinkled a little one in for effects.
DG, did you have any of these exotics at the top of the show?
So you can't play exotics in Tennessee, and so I was sitting there laughing with the family and friends that were over, and we saw that the coin flip went to tails, and the whole place erupted, and I just laughed out loud because that's really what was happening within the stadium. People were betting on that for sure.
I know there was a lot of people. I know the number on Taylor Swift was 6.5, and once the Chiefs started getting blown out, you knew the under was coming in. They were not going to go over her sulking or getting in the back of her box. I wonder what the odds would have been, Rafael, on a Vince McMahon in a box on field level would have been. What was that?
Easily 500-1 with Vince and his son at the Super Bowl easily. But the coin toss had more bets.
We're back in 5 seconds. Sorry, we're back in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are live on Stadium every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's Coach and Company, part of the BTT Universe, 3 big shows. I encourage you to check them out. Mondays is always our busiest day, 1 p.m. Eastern, only on YouTube, The Coach and Bro Show. And then tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, also right here on Stadium. It is The Last Word with me, Big Tommy C, Gabby, and an assortment. We have a brand new special guest coming up tonight. But we need to have ourselves a day. And there are plenty of other sports that now have our attention. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to beat the books. All right, 2 words we just love here at Coach and Company is day soccer. And tomorrow, Charles, my goodness, the knockout stage of the Champions League is upon us. And I got a little tingle this morning when I thought about tomorrow. But I need to pad my account just a little bit today. Where are we headed, good sir?
Italy, Siri. We got a little Inter Milan, and they welcome Fiorentina to the San Siro. And with Inter Milan, they're averaging 2.4 team goals at home, while Fiorentina, they average 1.7 team goals away from home. This is just the both teams to score spot all day long. Plus, I'm going to add Lautaro Martinez to score or assist a goal. He just loves playing the viola. He has recorded 8 goals and 3 assists in 15 career matches versus Fiorentina.
DG, did you have Lautaro Martinez on your bingo card to be set on the show today?
I didn't. The fact that he's doing the assist or the goal, and then he's doing the viola, whatever you're talking about, I have no idea. I will play it, but I have no idea what we're talking about.
Just tell me when the green check mark comes up. Or as Charles likes to do, which would become a very big part of my life, that when something happens, like we hit a bet or we sweep a bet, I'll just get the broom emoji, or I'll get the there we go, or hey, it's never too late. He just has his ways, which I absolutely love. And I wish everybody could have a little behind the scenes, but he's our guy. He's not your guy. All right, Charles, thank you very much. Now, where do I go next? DG, I'm going to come over to you, big boy, because we have a full slate on the NBA hardcore tonight. Where are you headed today, sir?
Yeah, we're going to start with an under for Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler under the 10.5 rebounds plus assists at minus 115. This is a potential blowout game for Golden State going against Milwaukee Bucks. They're on a home back-to-back, but they're also without Giannis, who's out past the All-Star break. But he went for 11 plus rebounds and assists only in 35% this season. This isn't a prove it game for him, so I expect him to go on the under. Then we're going to go Jamal Murray over the 9.5 rebounds plus assists at minus 115. He's had 10 plus assists and rebounds and assists and 59% on the season overall. He just went for 13 in a combined number versus Portland in the last matchup. He just continues to mop up the rebounds and assists against Portland. He's gone over this over multiple seasons in 6 straight. So I expect him to go over this number again.
Games tonight in the NBA. By the way, shout out to the JC1, which is not the Jonathan Coachman one. So this is where you guys are at. Outstanding. Yes, JC. Thank you for finding us. Tell all your friends. We'll be here every single day. Now, real quick, speaking of the Bucks, yesterday there was a lot of cross-sport Rafael parlays that you could have played, and the Bucks beat the Sixers. I had the over. The over easily came in. But did anybody else see the Hubie Brown tribute either during the game or at the end of the game? I mean, that Rafael, you're a guy, we're kind of in the same age bracket. And Hubie Brown, we're talking 91 years old. He doesn't do games anymore, but they brought him out for yesterday's game to kind of pay tribute to him one more time. And it was absolutely amazing. I caught it after I did the golf. But for people who don't know, especially the young kids, Hubie Brown is part of the reason the NBA is what it is today.
I couldn't agree more. And what a great way to bring him on a Super Bowl Sunday, because everyone's watching the NBA and Super Bowl Sunday, because there's bets you can do with the Super Bowl with the NBA. So hats off on how they did it. I had a little tear. I met him multiple times when I used to work at MGM, was one of the nicer guys, always wanted to talk shop, talk NBA. So hats off to him. I did drop a couple tears on that.
Yeah, go ahead, DG.
Yeah, so Hubie Brown, a lot of people don't know this, but he's probably one of the biggest reasons that the Grizzlies are honestly a decent franchise in general. Like he was one of the mainstays early on. He took over as the head coach there for Memphis Grizzlies when they were first starting out. And so he is one of the real reasons that the Grizzlies have the grit and grind. I know a lot of people look at Tony Allen and look at Lionel Hollins, who was the coach eventually, but Hubie Brown was the main reason that that franchise got off to a decent start that it did.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Chuck, real quick, you want to weigh in?
Well, I was going to mention that former Grizzly coach Hubie Brown. I remember back in the day. I remember when well, I don't remember when he was with the ABA, but that's when he kind of come in. But yeah, I grew up with Hubie Brown, a true legend. Still nice to see him get that last call.
50 plus years just in pro basketball, not to mention college, not to mention high school. This man was a basketball lifer, and kind of why I love sports. I always wanted to be that guy that was at a station for 40 years, that whenever somebody went, the Chiefs or whoever else went to the Super Bowl, let's catch in with the coach down in New Orleans. That was my dream, man, because that to me is what sports is all about, the dedication, the passion, all of it. All right, Rafael, your best bets today are what?
We're going to that one sport that's called the NBA now that the football's over. We're going to go with the Portland Trail Blazers team total under 212.5. Yes, they're red hot, but I think Denver's defense at home is going to stifle them a little bit and maybe keep this game under. So I like the Blazers 212.5 under. We'll lay the minus 120. Their last 3 games have hit this total prop bet. And then we'll go to the Pelicans, who still stink. But Zion Williams has been playing some really good ball. Over 21.5 points, laying the 3 nickels. His last game, he put up 40 points. His last 3 games have easily flew over this total. He's going to be, when he's on the court, he will be the key focus for their offense. I like Zion. I am blown away that it was not 23.5. Grab it now because this will get boosted up to probably 22.5 by tip-off.
Good. And if you're going to cash with the coach, I got 2 big plays tonight, one in college and one in the NBA. I'm going to start in college, North Carolina and Clemson. This is what I call rivalry adjacent. I mean, when you have a really hardcore rivalry in the ACC, you see points, but sometimes the defense is ratcheted up. Tonight, they're not really rivals, but they're close in proximity, sort of. And Clemson just beat Duke on Saturday. So this is over 145. North Carolina plays no defense. And I think tonight this one will at least get to 75, 74, something like that, which is, I'm not a math major, more than 145. Then play number 2 for me. And you're like, Coach, really? The Utah Jazz getting 13 against a red hot Lakers team? Yes. You take out the game against the Clippers when they have rest and they're not playing back to back, which they did on Friday and Saturday. They've actually been a pretty good team, and they've been covering and they've been scoring a lot. For some reason, they've decided the faster we play, the better we play. So they were already an over team. They're now a severe over team. And tonight, getting 13 against a Lakers team that is due for, to me, a little regression. I think it's a pretty good play at plus 13. Plus, it's late in the night. So if you have a pretty good night, hit a couple of bets with my other guys, then maybe you could take your winnings and put them on the Jazz tonight at plus 13. Real quick, DG, coming back over to you. And I don't want to say it's karma and I never wish injuries on anybody, but AD in his career has always been an injury guy. So when they made this trade, because Luka is scheduled to start tonight and make his Lakers debut, we'll see if that happens. But AD has now been officially ruled out for multiple weeks with an adductor strain. Does it surprise you that it took all of a game for AD to now be knocked out till probably March?
It's sad more than anything because AD had, I believe it was 24 points and 13 rebounds in the first half at his debut. And then he does get that abductor strain, the groin strain area, and that's going to take him out for a while. And so I'm curious if there's going to be even more heat that's coming on that Mavs franchise and the organization, because now you have a guy you traded for who is a great matchup with Kyrie Irving. But overall, he is made of glass, people say. And it's just sad that he's going out and keeps getting hurt over and over again. And this is the guy they traded for.
We will have more on this Dallas Mavericks situation coming up in about 7 minutes on the Weekend Rewind. Charles, let me come over to you because tonight the Mavs are actually favored by one without AD. And by doing the trade, they said, hey, we're all in right now. Well, they're all in right now, but without the big man in the middle for 4 to 5 weeks.
No AD. I thought there's always that chance he gets hurt. We dealt with this in New Orleans when he was a Pale forever. He was in and out of the lineup consistently, and then he did it with the Lakers. I thought there was a good chance he would get hurt. Didn't expect it would happen so soon. Yeah, they put everything on his back, so I hate to see him go out. I think it definitely hurts the Mavericks, especially with the playoffs around the corner.
Yeah, Rafael. DG, when I'm trying to be the next level host and I'm trying to make this the number one remote show in America. And then I see my man, who's one of my best friends, just stab me in the back. I look into the chat, and what does Rafael type? Could get plus 13 and a half or higher with Utah. Translation, Coach didn't have a good number at plus 13. Your thoughts, Rafael?
I'm just piggybacking what you said at the end of your sentence. This is a late game. Cash your team. If you cash early, bet this game. If you do that, you could probably get a better number, especially when Luka comes out with that gold jersey on. The betting public's going to be flooding money with Lakers. It's probably going to get a better number. That's all I was saying. Education first, coach.
Well, that's true, since you put it like that. All right, real quick, 30 seconds for you. How does this AD situation affect maybe futures or even the day-to-day numbers that the Mavs are going to have?
Futures won't affect anything just because it went downward when a trade happened. But I just feel bad for the AD and for the organization of Dallas. They figured they got rid of someone who didn't want to exercise or come in and play defense, and they get a guy that plays defense, and then he gets hurt again. So I feel bad for the AD fans. Not that many of them, but
You just that throw that little jab. There's not a lot of them, but those that are, I feel bad for them as well. By the way, if you guys were paying attention to anything outside of the NFL over the weekend, Luca got a little petty himself to get trolling Rick Carlisle, who the Pacers head coach. Used to be his head coach a few years ago. So Luca, I think we might see the best form of Luca we've ever seen in the next month or two because he's fired up. Plus, he bought a $15 million home in Dallas and then said, hey, you out the door. Don't come back no more. All right. Speaking of the Dallas situation, coming up as we cross the bottom of the hour, it's time for the Weekend Rewind. What are my guys targeting? Is something they saw over the weekend that maybe they just didn't understand or agree with. This is Coach and Company. We start your day right here live on Stadia. All right, you OGs, you degenerates out there, as we continue on. Busy college, busy NBA. DG, let me start with you because you have your focus a lot on the Memphis Grizzlies, but there's a lot of people out there like your boy from Weekend Wagers, Robbie Hockey. I'm not going to read what he actually wrote because he can figure out what to do with his hands. What we need to focus on is where do certain fans like to go when the NFL is over? Where do you like to go? NBA, as far as your betting is concerned.
Yeah, so I go the NBA, but I'm always careful because at this point we're going into more of the All-Star break, and so you got to look at because there are more players on the court. You can look at unders, and so I'm going to look at target a little bit more of the unders because of the way these games could play out. Look at the top seeds. They could rest guys. Some guys could take it a little bit easier. They could try to tinker with their offense. And so you got to be careful of the ways that the offenses could be. But I'm looking at the NBA, especially moving forward for the next at least 2, maybe 3 months.
Charles, you have a premium service that I love so much that you give out additional picks all the time. Where do you kind of push yours when it's not soccer now that football's over?
I'll transition to NBA and then normally NHL, but NHL was on a break also. They're playing in a tournament. So you're fixed to have no NHL. Then the NBA is going to the All-Star break. So both of those leagues are going to be away, but those are the two. And then we have the MLB right around the corner. So there's a plethora of opportunities for your boy and his people to keep those wallets loaded.
Yeah, don't forget we got college baseball starting up in a few days as well. Rafael, from a sports book perspective, where are they? What's kind of their focus?
I know everyone thinks it's the NBA now that football's over, but no, it's college basketball is right now. Because you know what's right in the corner? March Madness. And there's always more games on the betting board daily than there are the NBA. And the NBA is going through the All-Star break. So no, it's still not NBA season yet because college basketball will be creme of the creme until all the way to till April.
Did you say creme of the creme?
Yep.
Is that what you just said?
Yep.
All right, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. By the way, me and producer man, we're working on something very special for March Madness coming up in a month. Very special here at Coach and Company. That's all I'm going to say. We're back live in 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have crossed the bottom of the hour here on Stadium. We are live every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on all of the Stadium platforms. Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV, YouTube TV, Roku TV. We are available in over 100 million homes every single weekday. If you miss us live and you can't participate in the chat, we encourage you to watch us on demand at our Behind the Turnbuckle. We shortened it to BTT YouTube page because, as we know, YouTube is everything. It's everything. Real quick, Rafael, our man Mark, better days ahead. He's back off the grind, off the schneid, off the couch. After having surgery last week, he will have hockey plays when the hockey is in season. But he says he can't find the Portland team total 212 anywhere. Address that, please.
Because it's 112.5. I am an idiot and I'm tired. So I apologize. I will send you out Venmos if I need to, but I apologize for the missed number 112.5 because I am an idiot.
I'm just messing with you, man. He's only slept 4 hours in 3 days, ladies and gentlemen. How many times were you walking down? It's Bourbon Street, right? Bourbon Street
Yep.
in New Orleans, where they scream. Because I saw Eli walking with a TMZ camera with no security, and I thought, sure, in the background, I saw Rafael without security walking also down Bourbon Street, and they scream, BTT! Is that true?
A couple of times, yes. The guy for everything, someone screamed at as me, but you probably saw my wife on Bourbon Street taking pictures more than me on Bourbon Street.
Easy. Wow. I didn't see those on the internet yet. Easy. All right. I'm just messing with you guys. It's been a long weekend. We've been up a lot. By the way, shout out to Thomas Dietrich over the weekend, getting his first PGA Tour victory. We had our very first golf betting stream, guys, from ESPN Bet PGA Tour. We just got clearance this morning that we're going to be bringing it back at the Players, which is actually played on a golf course that's about 100 yards from where I'm sitting right now at TPC Sawgrass. So, Coaching Company, we are everywhere. We're doing everything. But over the weekend, a lot else went on. Where are my guys and their minds at? What didn't they like, or maybe what did they like? It's time for the Weekend Rewind. Shout out to producer man, always making the show look like $1,000,000. Rafael, I'm going to start with you. Where are you heading with your rewind? And this should be very entertaining since you're saying things and then you're hearing it about 4 seconds later. Go ahead.
I gotta have a shout out to the producer man using my VCR and all that for that promo. So thanks, producer man, for using my VCR. But I'm going, DG hated the halftime show. Coach hated the football game, but I love the TV commercials. Finally, the commercials got an A plus. How did Seal approve that? To be a Seal in that commercial was fantastic. Harrison Ford's Jeep commercial was hilarious when he does a little dog at the end. Say, I can't believe I'm driving a Jeep. My last name is Ford. It was brilliant. I thought the TV commercials were outstanding. A plus for the $8 million you had to spend for the TV commercials.
Way, which we love to be here at Coach and Company. Did anybody notice the David Beckham Stella Artois commercial? Did we see that? So David Beckham, apparently his parents told him he had a twin, also named the other Dave Beckham. So he went to the United States to find him. He found him in a backyard barbecue, and it was really funny. But then they call it the button at the end of the commercial when you come back for like the last 5 seconds. And he goes, "Oh, so my brother is famous. Like what level of famous?" And he says, "Oh, like Ben Affleck." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And like, boom, it went to black. I was like, "Oh, wow. Taking a shot at Ben Affleck." Thank you, David Beckham. That was awesome. Petty was the name of the game on Super Bowl Sunday. Now, it's not petty, DG, when fans start taking things to a level where fandom just gets ridiculous. Where are you headed today?
Yeah, we're gonna look at that Luca issue there. It was a big trade, and I understand that Mavs fans are upset. I am upset personally, but I understand being a fan of that team because fan is short for fanatic. The only issue is that there's a limit as we have to keep it as a fan, and you have to be upset. You can express yourself on the internet. Tagging players doesn't make sense, but death threats, going targeted to one person is not what we're going to be doing as fans just overall, because at that point we're talking about people's personal lives. Yes, he is at a business, and that is for the Dallas Mavericks. Nico Harrison is, and he made a decision. It might be a bad decision, but just remember, he is a human, and we can't be that type of a human ourselves to give death threats to another human. And so at that point, we got to watch ourselves and kind of keep it at a certain level. But I understand the frustrations, but we can't do death threats.
You have to ask yourself is, does this really affect my life?
Right.
Because one of the things that I read a lot of entrepreneurial and leadership stuff to run this brand. And the one thing that I have learned and still learn every single day is if it doesn't affect us, we do not need to give any energy to it because so many people thinks it really does. That trade just affected you watching Luca in a game, not practice, a game. See how I threw that in there too? See, that's fun. That's sports right there. All right. DG, thank you very much. Now, Charles, coming over to you. The one thing I absolutely despise is when I'm watching our day soccer and I'll look at ESPN.com. Maybe I'm in the middle of the Coach and Bro show and I can't watch a game live, and I see Atletico Madrid 1-0. And then that one goes away. And it's now 0-0. And I'm like, what the hell? Oh, VAR just got us again. Yes, DG. Tweet. Now, give me some good news, Charles. Give me some good news.
That's why I wanted to touch on the subject that's near and dear to my heart, VAR. Well, you wouldn't believe it. Norway has decided to ban VAR starting in March due to fan protest, and Sweden has followed suit. Now, this is what I'm hoping is that all the leagues pick up on this and it's a trickle down effect and we can get rid of VAR. If you're like me and remembers what the leagues were without VAR, it was lovely. We used to get all those goals, all those calls. So I'm hoping there is a trickle down effect and we no longer have VAR across the board.
Protests here in the United States, and maybe we can get VAR banned for the MLS and Serie A and Bundesliga, Premier League, Scottish Premiership, all of it. All of it.
Everything. They just started leaving the matches, everyone leaving, throwing stuff. They banned, boycotted, and they just stopped coming to the matches. And hey, they started costing them money. That's the only way you can really hit them is to boycott the matches and not even invest in them. Also, stop betting on it. That's where you really hit them.
DG, go.
Okay, so I'm a dumb soccer fan, but VAR is just, the refs coming down from above and saying, hey, whether or not the goal was allowed or not allowed. but
Yeah.
like, isn't that involved in every single sport at this point? So like, why is it so bad with VAR in soccer? But like, let's say basketball or football, if the refs come down and call it, like, why is it so different and why is it so, I guess, bad?
I think because the way that they use it, for one, it's they trick it up. There's so many different rules to it. They'll have one
Mm-hmm.
match that'll call off a goal, and then the other one they'll allow it. So there's it's just no consistency to it. So unless you're going to have a consistent format, I think you should do away with it.
Yeah, one of the things they do, GZ, is they'll have a goal and then they'll go back 2 plays and say there was a foul before that play even happened. And so because that foul wasn't called, because they're checking the goal, that the goal doesn't allow it. Well, you didn't call the foul, so it moves on. Just check the goal. And that's part of the problem that they have with VAR. Is I think that's right. Right, Charles? That's one of the situations.
Of many, that's correct.
Many. All right, it's my turn. My weekend rewind is a lot of the attention this weekend and really the entire year is on Travis Kelce. And you guys know I'm a Chiefs fan. This is not about that. This is about a football fan, a sports fan that is telling Travis Kelce, and he may never see this, he may see this. I'm your biggest fan. But at some point, because we know what they all say, that age, Father Time is undefeated. He's now in his mid 30s. He's on the last year of a contract that pays him north of $18 million a year, around there, as the highest paid tight end in football. It's clear that his production has fallen off. Those that defend him say, oh, it's because they're double teaming him. Well, he was getting those double teams for the last 7 or 8 years. I said over the summer, when you travel to Australia, Europe, Asia, Vegas 5 or 6 times, you're a human being. You're not working out while you are there. Now, the 15-2 record kind of covered that up, but Travis Kelce needs to understand and say this to himself this week. Do I want to be a top shelf tight end or do I not? Am I committed to being a superstar in football, which is the reason why I got all of these other things? But he's turned into a social media influencer. Football's like number 5 when you're getting everybody camped out to shoot you coming out of a restaurant on Friday night of Super Bowl week. You did nothing wrong, but the narrative is that you did. You weren't focused. And then you come out only 4 catches, 39 yards. People say, well, he was out on Friday night. He wasn't focused. That's the world that you've created for yourself. And you got to understand, do you want to be in aisle 3 at Ralph's Supermarket on every cereal box? Or do you want to be a football superstar for 1 or 2 more years? You said it. I'm not even thinking about retirement. Well, I need you to stop globetrotting this offseason, get your butt in the gym, and come out week 1 in the best shape of your life. Rafael, do you think Travis Kelce will be able to do that?
I'm still teetering. Maybe he's going to retire. I mean, it's the way he looked, the way he was talking to the media yesterday, it didn't look like he was 110% coming back. Yeah, he says I'm going to play, but he didn't. His face expression didn't say I can't wait to get back and try to get a Super Bowl trophy. I'm still. It wouldn't shock me in my next week or so that he announces maybe I'm stepping away and going to spend a lot of money with my brother and do a lot more other stuff.
G, your thoughts?
I think motivation is a real thing. I think you lack motivation when you have 2 Super Bowls in your back pocket. You're going for 3. I think you lack the motivation of getting punched in the mouth by the Eagles. I think he now has that.
It's a natural thing. Charles, your take.
I think his expression said it all. He looked defeated. He looked like a defeated man while he was swooshing his hair.
See, the hair is and I don't like taking shots at anybody because I haven't had hair since '02. But a lot of times we all know this, we've all been in relationships that when they want you to look a certain way, dress a certain way, reports are that she has spent over $500,000 on his wardrobe since they started dating. That's a real thing. And so now with the hair, he looks like something from Back to the Future when they were in that Back to the Future scene in 1955. Oh my goodness. Now, take every dime you can from the podcast, from all the cereals, from all the endorsements, but let's remember what made you famous: football. Still to come, we have a very special edition of One Word, One Word, One Word, One Word. It is Coaching Company live on a Monday right here on Stadium. All right, you degenerates, we continue on. Presented by Deemer Box and Shop Mando at Shop Mando. Use the code EXPLODES and get $5 off. That's 40% off your starter pack at Mando. All right, guys, as we kind of wrap things up with the Super Bowl and move on to the off season, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers in one word. But, DG, this is now a time Kellen Moore reportedly is going to be, and I don't know if they've announced it yet, the new head coach of the Saints. Well, the way he called the game yesterday, conservative, put it in jail. Do you think this is going to be a good call for Kellen Moore to get his first head coaching job?
So he was with the Cowboys as the OC as well, and then got fired when they were sent out the entire coaching staff, and then goes to the Eagles. He's been a decent, I guess, offensive coordinator. I don't see him as being the leadership type, and that's really where you look at as the head coach of any team, being like the CEO of a business. I don't see that yet. I could be surprised, but I don't see it, and I don't think his offense is just so groundbreaking that puts him over the edge. So I'm still out on it, but I don't see it just yet.
He may be, maybe it's the baby face Rafael of Kellen Moore. You know, I can remember him playing quarterback at Boise State, for God's sakes. Do you like this move down where you have, one of your houses?
He needs a quarterback because Carr's not going to be that type of quarterback for his system. Now, I heard the reason why they haven't really announced it because there was some bad negative press that came out Monday about the Saints organization. So he may be teeter-tottering with that, but I would think they would announce something after the parade that he's going to be the full-time coach of the New Orleans Saints.
Charles, you live there. What are you hearing?
I'm excited if Kellen Moore comes along, inject some youthful energy into the team rather than McCarthy was rumored to be the coach. I'm excited, but definitely address the quarterback situation. We already have the running back. I think that he's low key a low key a dog, something that brings out the best in these players.
Low key a dog. I love that. He's low key a dog. Are we saying that Spencer Rattler is not going to be the future face of the Saints? Blasphemy. Blasphemy, I say. All right, a lot more coming up. About a month before the NFL season kind of year retools. We're back in just 3 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. It's Coach and Company live on Stadium and all of their platforms. I do want to say, as we start kind of the first day of our offseason, a big thank you to David and the entire executive team at Stadium for trusting us, believing in us, and giving us all of this space to grow our BTT brand. So thank you very much. I encourage all of you, tell all your friends. It doesn't matter the platform. You can find us every single day live at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We are growing way outside of YouTube. Now, there are a lot of topics, and sometimes you got to keep it simple. Sometimes you just got to keep it down to maybe just one word. Oh, I can just see Charles playing the silky piano down in one of those saloons in New Orleans, talking about one word. You know what I'm saying, baby? You know what I'm saying. Now, a man that might have some time to hang out in saloons is Aaron Rodgers. Over the weekend, guys, the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers have announced that they are going to part ways, which will now allow DG. I'm going to start with you. Aaron Rodgers a chance that in a month, in March, when the new year starts, to sign with another team. One word to describe the future of Aaron Rodgers.
Dim. That's my one word for his future because there's not much left at this point. He didn't look good as a decision to move on from him. It looks like it's rumored at least. So it looks like it's going to be a little dim for Aaron Rodgers. I don't expect him to be the guy that's going to take a next team to the next level, but he could definitely be decent for 1 year.
Rafael.
Like the instinct said, my word is bye. Bye. I'm hoping he is gone. I do not want to see him in the league anymore. The only teams I can see him is the Raiders or Pittsburgh. That's it. But I don't think he comes back. I think he's bye.
Can we have sleep deprived Rafael every day? He says, as the NSYNC said. I've never called them the NSYNC. Now they're the Backstreet Boys, but I love you today. You're like 4 seconds. You're like on a 4-second delay today. Charles, your one word.
DG went with dim. I'm going to say slim because I think the opportunities are going to be dried up. And you may have a future in New Orleans. You never know. Kellen Moore might bring him in, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of NFL franchises knocking at his door.
My one word is over. His future is over. And it's not even because I don't think that physically, guys, that he can get the job done. At some point, no matter what business you are in, your personality and how you treat people will come out. The proof is in the pudding. And when nobody follows him or wants him on any brand, on any team, in any part of the league, and there's 32, that means it's over. We've seen it so many times before. The proof is in the pudding. Over. Now, topic number 2. The Eagles admitted after the game last night that the talk of a three-peat for the Chiefs motivated them. Interesting motivation. DG, one word to describe the fact that the Eagles admitted that that was one of the things that got them fired up.
I was thinking about this one a lot, and my word for this is okay. Like, it's a motivation for everybody. It should be a motivation. And so when that came out, I get that they were maybe saying that, hey, that is like pull the curtain back. We were actually motivated by not allowing the Chiefs to get a three-peat. Okay, like that should be a motivation. So it did not move the needle for me at all. And so it just wasn't something that I'm just kind of looking at too much into.
Rafael.
Outstanding, because Bullet was all over the place on that defensive side. That defense was nothing but outstanding. So I thought it was great motivation. You don't want to be the team that gave a first three-peat in the NFL. I thought it was outstanding.
Honesty, it's good to hear them come out and actually say that and not just beat around the bush and give just a football speak. So some good, good, honest speak to come out of the Eagles franchise.
All right, one topic left. I only need 15 seconds left from each one of you. The Chiefs and the Ravens, the betting favorite heading into 2026 Super Bowl, and not the Eagles. One word, DG, for that.
Fitting. I think these two teams are dynamite and they're set up for success. The Chiefs get Rasheed Rice back, and then the King, Derrick Henry, is still over there on the sideline for the Ravens.
Rafael.
Brilliant, because they're going to get action from everybody else except those two teams. So balance your books now early.
Talk to me, Charles.
Expected. They're going to probably be the favorites the next few years coming out. So I definitely expected that.
All right, very good. We play one word a lot here on Coaching Company. We want you to participate in the chat or just at home. Get your mind thinking. All right, gentlemen, we always give our picks out in the first half of the show, but there's a lot of people, even though the live number right now is amazing. Thank you to everybody joining us on YouTube or on Stadium, but they have lives. They don't always get them. And sometimes the lines move just a little bit. It's time to lock it in. So last one or two nuggets. Rafael, I'll start with you. Go.
My stupidity bet of the day was the Portland Blazers under 112.5, now 212.5 minus 120. I think the Blazers offense might be MIA against that Nuggets defense. And then Zion Williams over 21.5 points. He scored 40 points his last game, averaging 24 points a game this year.
Day soccer. Charles, go.
Siri, Inter Milan, Fiorentina, the both teams to score. I'm still shocked at this price. You have to take it just based on that price alone. And then Lautaro Martinez to score or assist a goal. He loves playing Fiorentina. He has 8 career goals and 3 assists in 15 career matches.
DG.
Yeah, we're going to go under on Jimmy Butler, the 10.5 rebounds and assists at minus 115. It's not a prove-it game for him. I expect him to not really look to get those rebounds and assists early on. And then Jamal Murray over the 9.5 rebounds and assists at minus 115. He could get this all in assists. I like Jamal Murray going against the Portland Trailblazers tonight.
And finally, if you're going to cash with the coach, this is just you give me 13 and a team that's been playing really well, minus the Clippers game, their last game. I'm going to take the Jazz plus 13. Luka, scheduled to make his appearance tonight first for the Lakers. They're going to need some time to fit him in. Then on college, it's Big Monday. North Carolina, Clemson. Let's go over 145. Clemson just knocked out Duke on Saturday. They're going to do North Carolina, the kind of Carolina two-step, and we're going to see a lot of points in that one. Only a couple minutes left in the show, and I got to say this, that this brand would not be here. We would not be doing the show at this level if not for producer man. This guy behind the scenes is next freaking level. And with that being said, we end every single show. And today we have our very first open for this particular segment. It's time for Rafael's Inside Info. Kidding me right now. Rafael, what is your stat today?
I feel like watching the movie Tron right now, but give me the Portland Trailblazers 11-1 against the spread in their last 12 games. The coach has been telling us about Portland week after week, and they're 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 road games.
You know what sucks though? The other night I had them. This was a brutal bad beat. They were up 13 points at halftime against Minnesota minus Anthony Edwards minus big lefty name right now. Help me. Lefty, Minnesota, somebody. From the Knicks. He got traded from the Knicks to the
Oh, Julius Randle.
Thank you.
Yeah, Randall.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Randall. They're up 13 at halftime and they don't cover, and they end up losing by like 18 points. They couldn't score in the fourth quarter. That's the NBA. DG, are you kidding me right now? Up 13, you're getting 5.5, and you can't cover? What are we doing?
That's bad. That's bad. But I do want to go back to your play earlier. I didn't get this take, but I was always learned that if you somehow get a big piece coming back, like Luka coming into the Lakers, it is very fitting that they're going to be off a little bit. They might win the game, but covering that big number, it's going to be very tough.
I agree. That's why I picked the Jazz tonight. Plus, Rafael, they've started to play faster. I think they've realized that if they play faster, they've got a lot of good shooters on their team, and they're getting a lot of wide open threes.
And the Lakers don't play defense. So if you're Utah, you can easily put some points on the Lakers D.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Great job. And I'm so excited about the future of this show, of this brand, and of the BTT brand. Do not forget, 1 p.m. Eastern time right here on our YouTube channel. It is the Coach and Bro Show live with me and Vince Russo. And then tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern time, we've got Chaz from the Headbangers as our special guest tonight with me, Gabby, and Big Tommy C. In the meantime, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these, take us straight to the pay window for my entire company. Damn it, do I love them all. My man, Big Chuck, DG, Rafael, get some sleep, son. Producer man behind the scenes, always making the show look like $1,000,000. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day, especially weekdays, right here. Where else but on Stadium? Good luck.